Hello everyone, welcome to another Warhammer Battle Report, another 40k game for y'all. So this game, it's actually kind of crazy. We wanted to have a four-player game where we could all play and it wasn't just kill points, two teams of 3,000 points each and go for each other. So we came up with this really crazy scenario. So I'll try and explain. We kind of wanted it to be thematic as well. So I thought that was a really cool story that we came up with behind it. So this is a planet that the Inquisition has decided is condemned. So right now, throughout the game, there's an orbital bombardment. They're doing an exterminatus on the planet because there's a chaos invasion, etc., etc. You know the deal. You guys all know the fluff. So there's a exterminatus. However, there was a Titan that was shot out of the sky on its way on off the planet, and the Adeptus Mechanicus has ordered the Imperial Guard to get back the Titan pieces because the Titans are very holy relics and they want to do anything to get them back. So there's four players here. There's myself playing Imperial Guard. There's a Chaos player, a Tau player, as well as a Blood Angels player. So the Imperial Guard's motivation is obvious. The Mechanicus wants them to do it. The Chaos, they're here, or Chaos Marines, they're here because they want the Titan pieces as well, because they can use them. The Tau are here because they're Tau and they just want greater good. I don't know. We couldn't really think of a very strong reason for them to be there, but maybe because they want some of the Imperium's technology. And finally, the Blood Angels are there because maybe it might be a Titan that's related to their chapter history or something like that. So even though they're technically part of the Imperium, them and the Imperial Guard are fighting each other to get back these Titan pieces. So I thought that was really a really cinematic way of having a game driven by a story. I've never done it before like that because I usually like just having playing to win, but I think playing for fun can be really cool too with a story like that. So how we depicted these things in the game is in the center of the table. Every turn, D3 pieces of the Titan would fall from the atmosphere, and these are the objectives that you need. And they would scatter from the center 3d6 inches. They would always do a full scatter, so even if you rolled an arrow, it would still scatter the full distance. And so that means that throughout the course of the game, there's a potential for 15 different objectives to land pretty evenly around the center. And in order to capture the objective, by the end of turn 5, you needed to have a troop choice within 1 inch of the objective. We decided to have it 1 inch because the troop choices are actually securing the Titan pieces. Actually have to grab them and pick them up and get them off the planet as quick as they can. So they have to be really close. However, if an enemy unit of any type is within 4 inches of the objective, that they count as contesting the objective. So it made for a really cool mad dash to the center of the board to try and get all these objectives. At the same time, every army already has part of the Titan in their deployment zone. The players can put it anywhere they wanted. Mine is in the back corner, and that counts for 2 points. So everybody has 2 points of objective in their back corner, which will always be theirs. Even if they don't have a troop choice next to it, someone else has to come grab it from them. So we thought that was a good way to give players also a motivation to go attack the enemy's deployment rather than just go to the center as well. And the Exterminatus, how we're depicting that is at the start of every round, or excuse me, because every player, there's 4 players, it's free-for-all, by the way, no teams. So at the start of every player's turn, depending on the turn number, you would get that many small blast templates, strength 8, AP nothing, that you could place anywhere on the board. So for instance, if it's turn 2, when it's the start of your turn, or when it's round 2 and it's the start of your turn, you get 2 blast templates you can put anywhere. However, they will always fully scatter 2d6, so no direct hits with them. They did some, which makes it great because everyone's so focused on getting into the middle that if they can scatter really easily and they just cause all kinds of shenanigans and random things happening. So it made for a really, really cool cinematic story-driven game because it's cool to imagine all these pieces falling from the atmosphere, trailing flames behind them while there's all these orbital bombardments going on, explosions everywhere, and it's a mad dash to get these Titan pieces. So anyway, it's 1,500 points per side. Like I said, 4 players free-for-all. So I'll start talking about my deployment here. So I'm Imperial Guard. And on the very back, the Basilisk and the Lehman Russ that's facing backwards, those are actually Hydra autocannon tanks. They're on top of a hill. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of proxies in this game because we have 4 players, 1,500 points each. We only have so many models. We did our best here. So I have 2 Hydras. Those Cold One Cavalry, those are actually Rough Riders. I wanted to take them just because I think they're really cool. I didn't have my Bretonnians with me, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have used them for Rough Riders. So instead, I used my friend's Lizardmen. So I have 9 of them there. In front of them, those 4 vehicles, even though they look like rhinos and part of a Leman Russ, those are actually all chimeras with melta-gun veterans. In the Valkyrie, that's my command squad with plasma guns. And in front of them is, on the left, is a Leman Russ with a demolisher cannon and plasma sponsons and a heavy bolter. And on the front right, that's an executioner with the executioner plasma cannon, 2 plasma sponsons, and a heavy bolter. So that's my deployment zone. And the deployment zones for each player, you start off in a corner, and along the long table edge you get 24 inches, along the short table edge you get 18 inches, and that's your deployment zone. So we thought that was pretty fair because it left some good spaces between the players so you couldn't, get too far up. On my left here was the Chaos Marine deployment. He has his objective in the very far back left. It's that purple thing. That's his home objective. All the vehicles you see there, except for the Defiler, those are all rhinos. So he's kind of doing a rhino rush here. Every rhino has 7 Plague Marines with 2 flamers inside of them. Then on the hill there, you see a Defiler. That's just a Defiler, nothing special about it. And there's also 2 Demon Princes there, and they each have wings with the lash of whatever, the thing that drags you towards them. On the other side of the board, directly across from me, is Tau. Now, the Tau here, it's quite the eclectic mix of models, so I'll try and remember exactly what they are, but yeah, I mean, there's Grey Knights, Dark Eldar, Tau, and all kinds of stuff in this army, but they're all Tau. So on the bottom, well, you see the Raider model that's kind of pointing out of the side of the screen. Those are Devilfish. All the Raiders are Devilfish, and they all have 10 Fire Warriors. The Kroot on the hill, those are actually Pathfinders, as well as the Fire Warriors on the hill above them. Those are also Pathfinders. The other tank with the shark on it, that's the missile one. I don't remember what it's called. It's the one, I don't know, has a bunch of missiles on it, I guess. Behind them, along his short table edge, is some battle suits, as well as on the hill, the thing that looks like a Terminator, that's actually the broadside battle suits, one with the huge cannons that are awesome. And next to him is the Blood Angels deployment zone. And the Blood Angels have, they only deployed with 2 Predators. So those are 2 ball Predators, nothing else for them is on the board. And his objective is the chicken in the back. And the Tau's objective is also in their corner. So this is scout moves. The ball Predators go ahead and scout up. We rolled for objectives before we did scouts, because we forgot about scout moves. So on the first turn, only 1 objective showed up, and it scattered from the center of the board towards the Blood Angels. It's that little tower thingy you see there. So that's the first objective. And those are the scout moves there. That's my Valkyrie scouting up to the side. I couldn't really scout too far because I would be within 12 inches of a lot of things. So I just went up to the side to try and maybe give myself some good avenues of fire. And the turn order we rolled for, it goes Tau, Blood Angels, Chaos, me. So Imperial Guard is going last, which kind of sucks because that means I can't get my good shooting in before losing some stuff. So the first orbital bombardment comes in. The Tau player targets it on me. Oh yeah, I don't know if I remember to say that, but every player, you get to target where your blast comes from. So when it's the start of your turn on the round, you get to put where it is. So by the time we get to turn 5, each player has 5 blast templates they can fire. But it scatters onto a Chimera. If it hits a vehicle, we decided to hit side armor, so he manages to get a penetrating hit and blows off my multi-laser, which, it's actually probably the best thing that could have happened to me with damage chart anyway. So this is Tau, turn 1. This is his movement. All 3 of his Devilfish start aggressively moving into the center. Other than that, I think everything else stands still. He blows up the Defiler in the Chaos deployment zone. So that was the Chaos player's one kind of supporting fire choice, and it just kind of got toasted. Over here, I believe that this is what happens on the Blood Angels turn 1. So the Tau have already gone, now the Blood Angels go, and they manage to blow up a battle suit with the Predators. So this is Chaos turn 1. He moves up his Rhinos, as you can see. The one on the top is going for the Blood Angels. The other ones are just heading towards the center with his Demon Princes, and the one on the bottom just kind of hanging out, going towards me. So my turn 1, unfortunately, I think this is during my shooting phase, so I didn't get a picture on movement. Sorry, guys. But anyway, I go ahead and bring up my Chimera, you can see on the right of the screen there, and just melt a gun the crap out of that Rhino, because my goal here is to get to his objective, because the home base objectives are worth 2 points, and with my troop choices being as fragile as they are, I really didn't want to risk them being in the center of the melee with all these Chaos Warriors and Blood Angel Assault Marines going around everywhere. So I wanted to go ahead and get this guy's objective in the corner to guarantee me at least 2 extra points. So I blew up his Rhino, and his guys had to pile out. Then I unloaded all of my shots that I could bear on this Demon Prince. I got down to 1 wound until I remembered that I had Hydra autocannons, and they barely got his last wound off. So I managed to kill one of the Demon Princes, because if anything, those are probably the most deadly things in the Chaos Army there. So this is a picture of the board after turn 1. So there's my movement. I'm not going to worry about the Tau right now. I figure my Vendetta can try and shoot at them. Maybe las cannon them occasionally, but I figure they'll have enough to worry about with the Blood Angels coming into there next to them. So I'm really trying to go to focus on the left against the Chaos player there. I bring up my Rough Riders around to try maybe get a charge into those Marines, and yeah, bring everything else up as you can see. So start of Tau turn 2, or start of round 2, starting with Tau, is Orbital Bombardment. Again, he targets me, and it actually manages to blow up a Hydra. Yeah, he rolled a 6. It's AP nothing, so it's -1 on the damage chart for the orbital bombardments. But he rolled a 6, -1 is 5, so wrecks my Hydra. So I only have 1 Hydra left, but that's okay. Could be worse. This is Tau movement. He brings up his Devilfish on the left side, drops out his Fire Warriors to try and take... I think a couple objectives landed around where those Fire Warriors are on the left on the start of this turn. He manages to immobilize my Valkyrie with, I believe he fired with his broadside battlesuits over there in the corner. So, you know, I mean, that does kind of suck because now I can't move it and jump around the board and everything, but at least my las cannons are facing towards him, and I still have my command squad in there. Yeah, I think this is just another picture of his Fire Warriors blowing up doing some damage to the Predator there. Yeah, there's the picture of it. So they got it immobilized and can't move and shoot, so these poor Predators, they're kind of just gimped the entire game. Alright, Blood Angels turn 2, the Descent of Angels comes in. So 2 assault squads come in through Deep Strike, as you can see there. 2 of the objectives actually scattered towards the Blood Angels, or 1 more objective, so now there's 2 right there next to the Blood Angels, so they got some 2 easy points right there. And in the top right, you can see the Dark Eldar Flyer. That's actually a Storm Raven, and that Deep Strike as well this turn. So over here, you can see the Blood Angels blew up one of the Devilfish, and so the Tau, if they hadn't already come out, they had to pile out there next to the objective. So the Blood Angels just blew up the Chaos Rhino, and the Chaos Marines, the Plague Marines had to unload. So now we go to Chaos turn 2. He brings up his Demon Prince and his other Rhino towards the Blood Angels, and the remnants of a Marine squad that got blown to bits by the Imperial Guard last turn are moving towards the center. Here's another picture of that. I believe they shot a couple rounds into the... or they fired some flamers into the assault squad and did a little bit of damage. Over here, the Demon Prince did his little lash of I push you 2d6 and pushed the Fire Warriors off of the objective. And then the Demon Prince, actually, now that I think of it, the Demon Prince probably shouldn't have been able to assault the Rhino because that, I don't know if the lash counts as a psychic shooting attack or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying that much attention because it didn't involve me. But anyway, he assaults the Rhino and manages to get a weapon destroyed and cannot move or shoot on it. So I think, or no, that's not a Rhino, that's a Predator. So he blows up the Predator's assault cannons and it can't move or shoot. So like I said, these poor Predators, they just take a beating the whole game. So now we go to Imperial Guard turn 2. This is after my movement. I bring my Rough Riders up to try and charge those Plague Marines. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I've never used Rough Riders before, but I mean, they're Strength 5, Initiative 5 power weapons, so that ignores their feel no pain and their armor save, so I'm hoping that they can at least do something. If not, you know, it was fun to try them out. So I push up my Chimeras. One of the objectives, as you can see in the top by my Lehman Wrestling Chimeras, came towards me, so I just went ahead and moseyed on over to it to try and capture it. This is my shooting, so my 3 twin-linked las cannons from the Vendetta blew up one of the Tau Devilfish, which spilled out these Necrons that actually are supposed to be Fire Warriors. There was an ongoing joke that we kept trying to tell him to roll reanimation protocols when his Fire Warriors died. So yeah, I blew that up. Over here on the at the Chaos side, I blew up his Rhino with my Melta Gun veterans. So they had to pile out, and I was getting some pot shots off in those Plague Marines before I charge them. The same Tau who just bailed out of the Devilfish I just blew up, I shot some more guns at them because I don't want them to come in late game and have to mess with my objectives over here. So here's some more shooting at those Plague Marines, and here's the Rough Rider charge. So here come the Cold One Cavalry all charging in. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. He only has 5 Marines, so I don't think they'll do much damage to me, and I'm hoping that so long as I can, don't whiff my to-hit rolls or something, I'll be able to do enough damage to him, wipe those Chaos Marines out, and hopefully that'll mean these guys at least, if not paid for themselves, at least made themselves useful. But of course they don't. I really whiffed my to-hit rolls. I need a 4-up to hit. I think I got like 4 of them, and then that means I wounded about 3 times, or however many I needed. So there's one Marine left. He's fearless. He lost combat, but then he made his fearless saves because he gets feel no pain from those as well, I believe. And so now I'm stuck there, and now I don't get my awesome hunting lances on the charge. So now they're just basically Marines with a bigger footprint, and yeah. I don't think they're going to do much, but we'll see. Over here, I believe this was an orbital bombardment. This must be the start of Tau turn 3. He goes ahead and bombards me here because of all my tanks bunched up, and he blows off a multi-laser from one of my chimeras. So this is overview of the board and during Tau movement. So everything's as you can see it. There's all my stuff there. The Tau guy, he's lost most of his Devilfishes. I think he's moving 1 up. And then there's all the Chaos stuff going on by the Blood Angels. So this is after Tau movement. He brings up his missile ship to shoot at some more things. He brings up his Fire Warriors just to try and mess with me a little bit. And he moves his other Fire Warriors that got lashed last turn back to the objective. This is a picture of the Predator that was over here losing its assault cannon. So that Predator that couldn't move or shoot now loses its gun. So Blood Angels turn 3. He tank shocks with that Predator that just lost its gun. He tank shocks the Tau Fire Warriors. They pass their test though, so they just kind of move out of the way. But at the very least, he's now contesting the objective. He moves up his assault squad that deep struck last turn to capture those 2 points and try and get some Melta Guns off of the Devilfish. And so yeah, he blows up one of the Devilfish. He gets an explode result. So the Fire Warriors, looks like half of them died. And they all deployed into cover there from the explosion. And the Assault Marines that were at the top, they went ahead and fired into the Plague Marines and assaulted them. I believe he has a Librarian in that, or no, he doesn't. Never mind, that's the other squad. So this squad has a Power Fist and a Sanguinary Priest. So this fight, they both have 3-up saves, both with Feel No Pain. We'll see how that goes. And the Plague Marines are Toughness 5. So this is after combat. As you can see, nothing happened. It was a complete draw. They charged in, and no wounds were given. So I'm predicting those Marines will be stuck in combat for a long time. So now we go to Chaos turn 3. Chaos is very quickly losing a lot of things, so he decides that his best bet is just to deny points to other players. So he rolls up his Rhino with his Plague Marines in it, just to this objective, just to try and cause some havoc. Here's the picture of one more squad of Plague Marines. Not sure where they came from, but they must have been there. I think they were on the other side of that blown up Orc truck. He moves them up into cover to try and stop me from taking his objective, and there's us locked in assault. There's another picture of that, and after the assault. Yeah, so I didn't do any wounds to him. He had 2 Marines left. They each did a wound on my Rough Riders. I failed both my saves, so 2 guys died. Failed my leadership, ran away. Or not ran away, excuse me. He actually beat my initiative. So they were cut down. So I think that's a lesson learned. Rough Riders are probably not worth it. They're still fun though, I think they're cool. Now it goes to Imperial Guard turn 3. This is an overview of the board. I think this is before movement. Yep, and then this is after movement. So it's getting to turn 3, so there's only 2 more turns left in the game, and it's time to start grabbing these objectives. So I got one more at the start of this round came towards me. So as you can see, there's the 3 towers. Those are my 3 objectives that are pretty safely in my hands. And I don't think I've done any shooting yet. So with my 3 twin-linked las cannons, I go ahead and shoot those broadside battlesuits because they're kind of the only things on this board now that can actually hurt my Leman Russes. So I take out 2 of them. I shoot some more of those fire warriors because I just don't have to deal with them. They stubbornly stick around though. And here's an overview of the board at the end of my turn. Everything else is as you can see it. My tanks and everything are starting to move up, just giving myself some good lanes of fire for my Leman Russes. So, start of Tau turn 4. 2 more objectives pop up, and 2 of them actually scatter to almost the exact same place. So we got 2 more Titan pieces that fell from the sky next to that Blood Angel / Plague Marine fight. And that's really interesting because it's close enough that if he can get out of that assault, his either the Plague Marines or the Assault Marines can take those 2 objectives. And it's also close enough for me to grab it, so those 2 will be heavily fought over before the game's over. He tries to ram the Rhino. Unfortunately, he wasn't really familiar with the ramming rules, and when we actually added all the points up, it would have been a strength, I think, 4 hit to the front armor 11, so it couldn't actually do anything. So this poor little Tau ship tries to ram a Rhino and just kind of stops. So then we go to Blood Angel's turn 3, or turn 4, excuse me. He brings up his gunship and unloads the huge assault squad that was in there with the Librarian. So there's a couple of objectives over here now. He's going to try and capture those with these Blood Angels. Something blows up a Chimera. It must have been the Blood Angels. They blew it up. Or no, excuse me. This is Chaos now. So the Chaos managed to blow up the Chimera, and they literally exploded it, so I lost half my veterans, so now they're just kind of hanging out there. And the Chaos Rhino moves up over here. There's all kinds of stuff going on. The Predator took some damage. The Fire Warriors lost a bunch of guys, so they had to fall back. And over here in the Blood Angels Chaos Assault phase, the Blood Angels managed to kill a couple, but again, the Plague Marines have Fearless, so they stick around. The Chaos go ahead and assault my Rhino. They have crack grenades, so they're hitting on 4s, but I'm not too worried. But of course, they manage to do something, so they get a weapon destroyed. So again, another multi-laser bites the dust. But that's okay, because I can just roll up to his objective next turn and capture it and melting on these guys. So his Chaos Demon whiplashes my assault, my veteran squad. He whips him into close combat with the Demon Prince. He manages to kill 4, and my Sergeant's still left. Unfortunately, he's not going to do a whole lot, so they get wiped out. Now this is my turn after movement. So I went ahead and just laid waste into that Demon Prince because I realized that thing's actually a pretty big threat. So I pump a lot of lead into him. If you look near the center of the board, there are now 5 objectives sitting close together. There are those 2 up by the assault squad, 1 next to my Chimera on the left, and 2 directly in front of my Leman Russes. So there are 5 objectives for the taking right there. I think I have a pretty good chance of getting them because I still have 2 Chimeras full of veterans, and I unloaded my company command squad from the Vendetta and put them into cover because there's actually an objective right there as well. So I want to at least deny it from the Tau. Yeah, there's a picture of all those objectives. So this is start of Tau turn 5. So this is the final round of the game. So a bunch more objectives come down from the sky. He brings up his Fire Warriors to try and take the objective. My command squad has flamethrowers, I believe. Yeah, I gave him flamethrowers. If I said plasma guns earlier, I didn't mean that. Flamethrowers, so they're going to try and take these Tau out. The orbital bombardment attacks my freaking Hydra and gets a weapon destroyed result. So these poor Hydras have been taking it. The Inquisition really doesn't like them, apparently. So they only have 1 of their autocannons left. Over here, Blood Angels turn 5. The assault squad that was up there goes ahead and spreads out. As you can see, there's actually 3 objectives up there by the assault squad next to the Rhino Predator. So he goes ahead and spreads out as best he can. The Chaos Rhino, though, is still contesting because he's within 4 inches. So the Blood Angels player's plan is to Melt-A-Gun, the Rhino, assault the guys inside, and then hopefully get a 6 to consolidate and take those objectives. Here's another picture. Yeah, God, look at 6 objectives managed to scatter right there. So those are going to be fought over dearly. Here, the Blood Angels managed to destroy the Tau missile ship. So there's a picture of it flipping over. And the 2 Melt-A-Guns from the assault squad only managed to do a weapon destroyed on the Rhino. And after the assault phase, the assault marines up top finally take care of those plague marines, mostly in thanks due to the power fist they have. And they consolidate a little bit, but since this is his last turn, unfortunately they were held up long enough to not be able to do anything. Chaos turn 5, he moves his Rhino down to try and grab these objectives while contesting those ones by the assault marines. And he does so quite successfully, so now this makes it a lot harder for me to try and take those ones that are right next to me. And it goes to my turn, so I unload my veterans. My vehicles hadn't moved, so I could move normally off of the vehicle. And I just tried my best to line them up conga line style, try and take these objectives. The one next to the Chimera down on the top of the screen, I think I have that one. I don't think it's quite contested, but those 2 next to the Marines there, those are definitely contested. So my last-ditch effort here is to just unload all my firepower I possibly can into that Rhino to try and take it out, along with the Plague Marines. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to. I kill a lot of the Marines, but he wisely took off the ones from the back. So I'm contesting the objectives next to those assault Marines there because I'm within 4 inches of them. However, I couldn't destroy the Rhino, and I couldn't destroy enough of the Plague Marines. As you can see from this next picture, there's still 2 sitting by the objectives. My veterans, they're contesting, but they're not capturing. So at the end of the game, that was the end of my turn, so that was it. The Blood Angels have 3 objectives there, plus their home base, plus that one, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So Blood Angels have 6, as well as do I, because I have my home base 2 objectives, the Chaos player's home base 2 objectives, as well as the objectives by my Chimera down there at the bottom right. So it was actually ended up being a tie between the Blood Angels and I. Given another turn, I think I could maybe have taken it out from them, but the Tau didn't have any by the end, and the Chaos player, the best he could do was just mess with everyone else to take the rest of the objectives. So it was really fun. I mean, it was like a 4-hour-long game. Might as well have been Apocalypse. Super fun, though. Really cinematic. You know, these orbital bombardments. By the end of the game, you had 5 shots from each player going down across the board. You know, we had, I think, 12 objectives scattered throughout the board at the bare minimum. So yeah, it was just super cinematic, super fun. I liked it because it forced players to go to the middle and not just sit back and shoot. So I had to be really aggressive with my guardsmen. But yeah, I mean, it was really fun. If you want some specifics of how we did different things, or if you have an idea of maybe how to make the scenario better, go ahead and post it in the comments. But yeah, I think it was really fun. If you have a couple friends that you just want to have a really fun game together, free for all style, I think this is a really good way to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.